September is upon us once again, and that means it's football season. Now, obviously, you know Joel and I, we love baseball. He's got his Yankees gear on, which is beautiful as always. But hey, tonight we're talking about fantasy football. Do you participate? What's awesome about it? What's not? We wanted to hear what you think, so join us live. Let's go to Joel over there in Vegas, who's cracking a beer right now. And Joel, do you do fantasy football?
No. No.
But why or why not?
Oh God, where do I start? First of all, most of us are not huge losers. We have shit to do with our week. But I understand that's not always the case with everybody. Majority of football season is during other sports season. Mm-hmm. For me and you specifically, baseball is still on. So we'll wait. We'll see what happens with football. But like right now, there's still something way better to watch. And when baseball's done, hockey and basketball will also be competing with football for viewership. So, and not everybody likes just football. So, it's a little bit like super nerdy, but I see why people do it because they want to feel connected to the sport and like they're competing. I'm a gladiator, even though it's another dude that doesn't give two fucking shits about your team. And he actually, I don't know if you ever read any of the tweets from any of the players or anybody watching this right now, but they want you to stop talking to them about fantasy football immediately.
Ooh.
Like, they don't give a fuck about your team. They never did, and it really annoys the shit out of them.
It's a little bit true because it's not like following your favorite team. You've made your team. You've picked the players you want to be your team. It's no longer following the Steelers, the Packers. It's, you know, it's suddenly like Joel's Jubilee or whatever, you know, and it's your own team. But on the other hand, I do understand that people enjoy it for the social value, you know, the chance to like BS about it, and in some cases also win a jackpot, which, let's be honest, who doesn't want to win a jackpot? I myself, I have never gotten into it. I've been asked a zillion times. I've been invited to a zillion different teams. I don't know. You know, you and I do the Picks League. You know, we do, by the way, champion here at the Football Picks League. Going to brag about that. But on the fantasy end, like, I don't want to be, like, setting up my teams every day, you know, or having to, like, follow it that intently. And I know people do fantasy baseball. All the guys over MLB Network who work there, they do fantasy baseball. That's even harder. You know, there's so many more games in baseball.
That's even nerdier.
Yeah, I mean, that's literally almost a full-time job at that point, too. You know, I mean, you got to be on the headlines every day because even if you miss 1 week of picks and don't set yourself up, you've pretty much screwed your whole season if you picked the wrong players or you got some guy on your team that's hurt and he's no longer scoring points for you.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. I retweet you 100%.
So my thing is, it's a lot of work, and that's why I don't do it. I also like to sleep in on Sunday, so until I roll out of bed, you know, it's, our football's already on.
Oh, yeah, Joe sleeps in on the weekend like mother.
Let me just say one more time, though, by the way, that I do enjoy our Picks League, and who's the champion of that? One more time, I won the jackpot. But
Joe won in 2016. Hey, I won the year previous to that, so you're talking to the two champions. And by the way, if you follow either of us on Twitter, this has been going for a while.
Yeah.
If you know us in person, you already know that. And if you don't, and I know a lot of people are probably watching this because of Twitter, the invites have been out for anybody that wants to talk football. They've been out. So don't talk shit to me during the season unless you're above me in the standings.
Do you, by the way, if you and I want to join in a fine chorus, so we are the champions right now, we could really soothe the whole audience. No, we're not going to do that.
Everybody already probably hates us, but they would hate us more.
Well, let's see if they hate us by going to our poll, because we put it out there, and I asked on Twitter, do you participate in fantasy football? And interesting survey result, once again, because we have 54% of people said, yes, I do, and 46% said, no, I don't. That is a really close margin. It barely was a win for people to say they do fantasy
let's
football.
Hear from the 50 whatever percent. I want to roll the tape. Yeah.
yeah. You got to go scroll back on my Twitter feed for that. But we do have a few people that chimed in, and I want to know why you participate in fantasy football. So Bruce says, it's a way to shoot the shit with your buddies instead of just talking about work and fam. True, you know, but I talk about sports all the time, at work, at home, with you, on social media. I don't necessarily think I need that fantasy football as an excuse to talk about.
Yeah, it's one outlet. There's a million of them, though. It doesn't have to be your default one. It can be, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, I mean, I get those sports a lot of fun. I do enjoy sometimes going. I used to like going to the bars here and watching football more, but I would say for the last 5 years, everybody does that now, and the bars are so damn packed here on a Sunday that if I can't get a seat at the bar and I'm forced to stand the whole time, I'd rather just sit here on my couch and watch it, so I can be a lazy bum for the whole entire game instead of standing there. And the second thing that's driving us about football is people say baseball's boring, but football games now have been just blown out to be so long with all the commercial breaks. Every freaking play is a flag. So the whole experience now takes a lot longer on a Sunday than it used to before.
Yeah, if you extract all of the commercial breaks, which, by the way, I love watching a 4-minute commercial break, a punt, and then another 4-minute commercial break,
That's my
followed
point.
by
Yeah.
2 runs and a short pass. Holy shit, that makes my day for 3 hours.
Yeah.
But if you actually extract the action, baseball has 18 minutes of action per game. Football has 11. And the commercial breaks aren't even close. It's not even comparable.
That makes perfect sense. But on the other hand, during that commercial break time, you can get up, you go to the can, or you can also go make yourself a sandwich, or more importantly, you got to go replace that empty can of beer.
Wow, what a great sell for a sport. When you're bored, you can go do other shit.
Yeah, I know. Let's take another viewer comment because Richard writes in. He says, no spare time. He's kind of going with my point where I say, I don't want to spend my whole time on the computer, dealing with stats and everything. It's just not for me.
Oh, I got to tell a quick story. Speaking of that, my work had me do. They like begged to get one last person into the fantasy league. Mm-hmm. Shocker, they couldn't find anyone. So I agreed to do it.
Oh no.
I wasn't really paying attention, and I kind of forgot about it. Mm-hmm. And they all took it really seriously, and they got really mad because I forgot on a bye week and accidentally played some player. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks into the season, one of my guys got hurt and almost nobody was available off the bench. It was like some guy I'd never heard of before on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers who's like third string tight end. Mm-hmm. Even if I know my guys are going to suck, I can't do anything about it. And it takes the fun out of it because I take pride in the fact that I can outsmart you in any competition. I want to be able to outsmart you. And in fantasy football, it's just, that's not part of it.
Yeah, one of the things that I didn't like about fantasy football is, remember, they don't do it anymore, but CBS used to always have a ticker at the bottom of the screen, kind of like what we have here on this show, but theirs was running nonstop stats the whole time, and it took up a large part of the screen. I mean, it was a big fat thing, and at one point, the stats and all the boxes and graphics on the screen was too much, especially from CBS, which is traditionally a slower network on programming everything they do, older skewing, but those graphics drove me nuts. There was just too much crap on the screen, constantly scrolling, and it was dumb facts, too, like Andrew Luck had a pot roast dinner, It was just all kinds of stuff to make these fantasy fans improve their game. They stopped doing that because enough people complained about it, and now it's back to the fantasy fans that go online and go on the Google machine and find out for themselves what Andrew Luck had for lunch.
Yeah. Oh, look, there's a picture on his Instagram. He had a roast beef sandwich. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Because of that roast beef sandwich, he's going to score 7 touchdowns in the game. Yeah. I know, not for me. We got one more comment, and let's go to Mr. Pizarro, who wrote in. He says, I really don't get that. And, oh, look, he sent a nice little GIF. Not a pic, but a GIF. He doesn't get it either. I think he's kind of on board with us.
Okay. That didn't really add anything. We already said basically everything.
No, but it was a nice picture, so we had to show that. But hey, one thing though we do agree on. Look, I do enjoy sports. It's a lot of fun. Football is fun. I mean, it's my third sport. Baseball's 1, hockey's 2 for me. I used to be higher up, but that's just how it's fallen for me over the past few years. Joel, what are your ratings for sports? I already know them, but
baseball by like 15 miles, and then football barely, and then hockey and basketball just kind of back and forth. So it's baseball dominated.
Okay. Let me ask you. Oh, by the way, I have a confession to make to you. I stopped drinking beer.
No, you didn't. You're full of shit.
Well, for the next hour, because I'm actually drinking a Mike's Hard Lime. I'm going with malt liquor tonight. I was just trying to screw with you like you did in the show last week. But I am going to ask you a serious question. Do you like pina coladas?
Yeah, I guess. I'll drink them if someone hands them to me. I'm not going to order.
Oh, good. Well, I hope you'll tune in Thursday to Kicking Back to Jersey Joe, because this week we're chasing the history of the pina colada. Why? Because I actually got the drink at the bar where the pina colada was invented. I will tell you where on my YouTube channel Thursday at noon on Kicking Back to Jersey Joe. Click that subscribe button, or you too can keep the summer going all winter long. So, thanks for our live viewers.
That's the best investigative work. Joe is the best drink investigator ever. He should have his own TV channel.
Oh, wait, I do have my own YouTube channel, and you're on it. You're watching it now, as a matter of fact. All right, well, thank our live viewers for joining us. Jersey Joe here, Eye on the Box over there. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.